At 12:13 a.m., my phone buzzed on the nightstand. It was my oldest son, Norman, who works for the FBI, calling with a voice I'd never heard before. Shaky, urgent, scared. "Dad, turn off all the lights right now. Get to the attic and lock the door. Whatever you do, don't let Vincent know I called." I knew something terrible was about to happen, so I followed Norman's instructions without hesitation. Through a crack in the attic floor, I watched silently, and what I saw destroyed everything I thought I knew about my family. My name is Stanley Pierce. I'm 58 years old, and I spent 30 years as a mechanical engineer before retiring early. When people bring me broken systems, faulty equipment, or engineering problems, I fix them. It's methodical work, diagnostic work, the kind that teaches you to identify stress points and system failures before they cause catastrophic damage. I never thought I'd need those skills to save my own life. I live in a 2-story house on Elm Street in Springfield, the kind with a full basement and an attic that my wife Dorothy always said would be perfect for storage. We bought this place 25 years ago when the neighborhood was still affordable, raised our 2 kids here, Norman and Margaret. Dorothy loved the big kitchen windows that caught the morning sun. She used to stand there with her coffee, planning her day. 6 months ago, Dorothy lost her battle with cancer. The house felt too quiet after that, too empty. Every room had pressure points that hurt to touch. Her reading chair, the kitchen table where we'd eaten breakfast for 25 years, the bedroom that still smelled like her perfume. My daughter Margaret noticed, of course. She'd always been observant, even as a kid. 3 months ago, Margaret showed up with her husband Vincent Gray and a proposal. We were sitting at the kitchen table, the afternoon light coming through Dorothy's favorite windows. "Dad, you shouldn't be alone in this big house," she said, reaching across to squeeze my hand. "Vincent and I have been talking. Our lease is ending anyway. What if we moved in with you for a while? We could help with maintenance, keep you company." Vincent smiled and added, "We'd handle everything, Stanley. Bills, yard work, whatever you need. You've worked hard your whole life, time to take it easy." So I said yes. I gave them keys to my house, my sanctuary, my home. They moved in the following week. At first, it felt good having people around again. The house had sound and motion. Margaret would cook dinner. Vincent would handle paperwork that had been piling up. They seemed genuinely concerned about my well-being. That's when the vitamins started. Margaret brought them to me the first night, a small white pill in her palm. "The doctor prescribed these for you, Dad. They'll help with your memory, keep you sharp." I didn't remember going to any doctor. Didn't remember any prescription. But Margaret seemed so certain, so caring, that I swallowed it down with a glass of water. Every night after that, she'd bring me another pill. Sometimes Vincent would bring it instead, always with that same reassuring smile. "Doctor's orders," he'd say. "These will help." But I didn't feel helped. I felt like my system was running on low pressure. My thoughts moved like thick, hydraulic fluid, slow and inefficient. I'd walk into my workshop and forget why I'd gone there. Tools I'd used for decades suddenly felt unfamiliar in my hands. The confusion scared me more than I wanted to admit. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was breaking down, losing operational capacity. Then came the hallucinations. One night, I woke up needing the bathroom. The house was dark and quiet. I shuffled down the hallway when I saw her, Dorothy, standing in the corner of our bedroom wearing the blue dress she'd been buried in. She was looking at me with sad eyes, not speaking, just watching. My pressure gauge spiked. I blinked hard, squeezed my eyes shut. When I opened them, she was still there. "Dorothy?" My voice came out cracked. She didn't answer, didn't move, just stood there watching me with that terrible sadness. I must have made some noise because suddenly Margaret was there, her hand on my arm. "Dad, are you okay? What's wrong?" When I looked back at the corner, Dorothy was gone. I couldn't finish. "How do you tell your daughter you're seeing her dead mother?" Margaret guided me back to bed, her face arranged in concern. "It's okay, Dad. You were dreaming. The mind plays tricks sometimes, especially at night. That's why you need your rest and your vitamins." The next morning felt like operating under reduced capacity. Everything seemed distant, inefficient. I went down to the kitchen needing coffee, needing something to clear the system malfunction in my head. Margaret and Vincent had already left for work. I was looking for coffee filters when I knocked over a stack of papers on the counter. They scattered across the tile floor like loose blueprints. I knelt down to gather them up when one particular page caught my attention. It was a form, official-looking, with letterhead from some medical facility I'd never heard of. Evergreen Behavioral Center. But that wasn't what made my hands start shaking. It was my name at the top, Stanley Pierce, age 58. Below that, a series of checkboxes: delusions, hallucinations, paranoia, memory loss, inability to care for self, danger to self or others. None of the boxes were checked yet. The form was blank, waiting. But someone had prepared this diagnostic worksheet. Someone was planning to have me evaluated, declared incompetent. I stood there in my kitchen, Dorothy's morning light streaming through the windows, holding that form in my trembling hands. The coffee pot gurgled behind me, normal and routine, while my whole world shifted on its axis. The next morning I found something that made my blood pressure drop to 0. A psychiatric evaluation form with my name on it, pre-filled, waiting for check marks. I wasn't always this suspicious of my own daughter. There was a time when Margaret was the light of my life, when her laughter filled this house like music. I can still see her at 8 years old, perched on a stool in my workshop, watching me rebuild a small engine. Some neighbor had donated it to a school fundraiser, a lawnmower engine with a cracked block that most people would have thrown away. Margaret handed me tools with the seriousness of a surgical assistant. When I finally got that engine running smooth again, she clapped her hands together. "Daddy, why do you fix broken things?" she asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. I wiped my hands on a shop rag and looked at her. "Because everything deserves a second chance, sweetheart. Even broken things can work perfectly again if someone cares enough to diagnose the problem." She hugged me tight. "You're the best daddy in the whole world." I believed her. God help me, I believed her. That was a long time ago. My little girl grew up, went to college, started her own life. She'd visit for holidays, call on Sundays, send photos of her adventures. Dorothy and I would look at those pictures together, proud of the woman she'd become. 2 years ago, Margaret called with exciting news. She'd met someone, Vincent Gray. From the way she talked about him, you'd think he'd invented the wheel. He was charming, she said. Successful, worked in business consulting. He had smooth answers for everything and confidence that could sell refrigerators in Alaska. They married the following summer. Vincent looked the part of the perfect son-in-law in his expensive suit. He shook my hand afterward, his grip firm and confident. "I'll take good care of her, Stanley," he promised. "She means everything to me." I wanted to believe him. He was attentive to Margaret, polite to us, always ready with compliments. But looking back now, I can see the calculation behind every gesture. The way he'd steer conversations toward money, toward the value of our house, toward retirement accounts. But I was focused on Dorothy's illness then. Cancer took her from me fast. One day she was complaining about being tired. 6 weeks later I was standing in a funeral home. The house became a mausoleum. Every room whispered her name. Norman called every few days from wherever the FBI had him stationed, his voice tight with worry. But he was 400 miles away in the Baltimore field office, and I was too numb to ask for assistance. That's when Margaret started showing up more often. She'd bring groceries, cook meals I barely touched, sit with me in the living room. She was concerned, she said. I looked thinner, tired. The house was too much for me to handle alone. Then came the day 3 months ago when she arrived with Vincent and a proposal I should have questioned. "Dad, Vincent and I have been talking. You need family around you. This house is so big, and you're here all alone. What if something happened?" Vincent leaned forward, his expression arranged in practiced sympathy. "We'd love to move in temporarily while you get back on your feet. We could help with everything. Bills, maintenance, making sure you're eating right. Taking your medications." Medications? I wasn't taking any medications. But I was too tired to argue, too lonely to question. So I said yes. I gave them keys to my house, my sanctuary, my refuge. They moved in on a Saturday morning in September. Within weeks, Vincent started managing my bills. Before I knew it, he was writing checks from my account, handling my finances to take the stress off. Margaret started organizing my medications, bringing me pills in the morning and evening, always with that same concerned smile. And I started feeling different, foggy, disconnected, like my operating system was running at quarter capacity. Vincent also started installing security cameras. He did it systematically, room by room, always with reasonable explanations. The front door camera was for package theft. The living room camera could monitor if I fell. The hallway camera would track if I was wandering at night. "For your safety," he'd say, mounting another small electronic eye. "At your age, we can't be too careful." I watched him drill holes in Dorothy's carefully painted walls and told myself it was thoughtful, that they cared. I didn't realize they were building a surveillance network around me. It took me a few days to realize how many cameras Vincent had installed. The first one I'd noticed was in the living room, mounted high in the corner. The second was in the hallway, and another in the kitchen, angled toward the stove. But there were no cameras in their bedroom. None in Margaret's private bathroom either. I'd walked past their door on my way to get something, and noticed no blinking red lights, no lenses watching from the corners. When I asked Vincent about it the next morning, he didn't miss a beat. The attic. "Dad, you've got all those old electronics up there. Radio equipment, workshop tools." The electromagnetic interference would wreck the cameras in a week. He clapped me on the shoulder, his grip just a little too firm. "Besides, you're safe up there doing what you love. We don't need to worry about you when you're tinkering." I nodded, but something about his answer felt off-spec. I'd been working with electronics for 30 years. There was nothing in my workshop that would interfere with a simple security camera. That afternoon, I tried calling an old friend, George, a fellow engineer I'd known since the 80s. But when I picked up my phone, Vincent was there instantly, his hand outstretched. "Who are you calling, Dad?" "George, just checking in." Vincent's smile didn't reach his eyes. "You know, George hasn't called in a while, has he? Maybe he's busy. Why don't you rest instead?" Before I could argue, he took the phone from my hand. Not roughly, just firmly enough that I didn't fight him. "I'll remind you to call him later." Later never came. It happened again 2 days after that. This time it was Norman. I saw his name light up the screen, Norman Pierce, FBI, and my pressure gauge spiked with relief. I hadn't spoken to him in over a week. I reached for the phone, but Vincent was faster. He snatched it off the table, his thumb swiping to decline the call. "Dad, you're supposed to be resting. Norman's probably just checking in. I'll text him later and let him know you're fine." "I want to talk to him," I said, hating how weak my voice sounded. Vincent's expression softened into something that might have been sympathy. "Dad, Norman's busy. He's out there chasing criminals and terrorists. The last thing he needs is to worry about you. Let him do his job. We've got you covered here." I wanted to grab the phone back. I wanted to shout that Norman was my son, that I had every right to talk to him. But the fog was there again, pressing down on my thoughts, making everything feel too heavy to lift. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about the cameras, about the phone calls that never went through, about the stack of papers Vincent had been asking me to sign. "Insurance forms," he said. "Updated estate documents, just routine maintenance." But I'd been too foggy to read them carefully, and now I couldn't remember half of what I'd put my signature on. The next morning, I found one of those forms on Vincent's desk. I wasn't snooping, I'd just been looking for a pen. I picked it up, squinting at the fine print. My signature was at the bottom, clear as day, but I didn't recognize the document. Something about account access, something about power of attorney. My hands started to shake like an engine with a loose connection. I set the paper down carefully, exactly where I'd found it, and backed out of the room. My heart was hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. I didn't know what that paper meant, not yet, but I knew it wasn't good. That night, Margaret brought me my vitamin as usual. She always did it herself, never Vincent. She'd smile and hand me the little white pill with a glass of water, standing there watching until I swallowed. But this time, I didn't. I took the pill, placed it on my tongue, and brought the glass to my lips. I let the water wash over it, but I didn't swallow. I kept the pill tucked under my tongue while Margaret watched with that same patient smile. "Good," she said softly, brushing my forehead like I was a child. "Sleep well, Dad?" When she left, I spat the pill into my palm. It was small, round, chalky white, with no markings. I stared at it for a long time, rolling it between my fingers like a defective bearing. The pill dissolved in water, turning it murky gray. Vitamins don't do that. Real multivitamins dissolve clear, maybe with a slight tint from the coating. This left sediment, residue that clung to the glass like contaminated oil. I poured the glass down the drain and stood there for a long time, gripping the edge of the sink. I thought about Dorothy, about the night I'd seen her standing in the corner. I'd thought I was losing my mind. I'd thought grief had finally caused a critical system failure. But it wasn't grief. It was the pills. I pulled out my old laptop and searched. Symptoms, hallucinations, drug-induced confusion, elderly. The results came back immediately. Hallucinogens, benzodiazepines, sedative hypnotics. A dozen articles about elder abuse, about caretakers using medication to control or incapacitate their victims. I read them all, my chest tightening with every paragraph. The symptoms matched perfectly. I closed the laptop and sat in the silence of my workshop. My life's work surrounded me, half-finished projects. repair manuals, tools worn smooth by decades of use. And now someone, my own daughter, was trying to dismantle everything I'd built. The next morning, Margaret and Vincent left for errands. I heard Vincent's voice in the driveway saying they'd be back in an hour, like I was equipment that couldn't be left unattended. I waited until I heard the car pull away. Then I moved. Vincent's office was on the first floor, just off the kitchen. The door was usually locked, but today it wasn't. I stepped inside, my heart running at red line. The desk was organized with mechanical precision. A stack of folders sat in the center, labeled in Vincent's neat handwriting. Insurance, estate, medical. I opened the medical folder first. Inside was a glossy brochure for Evergreen Behavioral Center. The cover showed a modern building surrounded by trees. Specialized care for cognitive and behavioral health, the tagline read. A safe, compassionate environment for those who can no longer care for themselves. Beneath the brochure was a draft form, an intake evaluation for psychiatric commitment. My name was already filled in at the top, and below that, checkboxes for symptoms. Some were already marked: hallucinations, delusions, paranoia. The check marks were in blue ink. Vincent's handwriting. I stared at the form for a long time. This wasn't precautionary maintenance. This wasn't concern. This was a planned obsolescence schedule. They were going to have me committed, declared incompetent, and take everything I had. Using my engineering mind, I photographed the documents with the old digital camera from my workshop. Then I slipped everything back exactly as I'd found it. My hands were steadier now. Anger has a way of clearing system malfunctions. That afternoon, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Ruth Wells from 2 houses down, a ceramic dish in her hands. Ruth was neighborhood fixture, 65, silver-haired, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense manner. She and Dorothy had been friends. "Stanley," she said, her voice cautious. "I brought you some casserole." She paused, her gaze sweeping over me. "Are you all right?" I opened my mouth to say yes, the automatic response, but something stopped me. Maybe it was the way she was looking at me. Not with pity, but with clinical assessment. Ruth had been a nurse for 30 years. Ruth stepped inside, setting the casserole down. She lowered her voice. "Stanley, I've been a nurse for 3 decades. I know medication side effects when I see them." "You don't look right." Before I could answer, I heard the front door open. Margaret's voice rang out, bright and false. "Mrs. Wells, how nice of you to stop by. But Dad really needs his rest." Ruth didn't move. Margaret stepped between us. "I appreciate your concern, but we have everything under control." Ruth's jaw tightened. As she passed me on her way out, she leaned in close. "If you need me, I'm 2 houses down." Then she was gone. Margaret closed the door and turned to me, her smile sharp. "Dad, don't bother the neighbors with your episodes. People might get the wrong idea." I nodded, but inside something had shifted. Ruth had seen. She knew, and she'd offered help. That night, after Margaret brought me my vitamin and I tucked it under my tongue again, I lay in bed thinking about Norman, my FBI agent's son. 6 months ago, he'd visited for Thanksgiving. He'd pulled me aside in the kitchen and pressed something small into my hand. "It's a backup phone, Dad," he'd said quietly. "Prepaid, untraceable. Keep it charged and hidden somewhere safe, just in case." At the time, I'd thought he was being overly cautious. Like any good engineer, I'd filed it away in my workshop toolbox and forgotten about it. Until now. At 12:13 a.m., the backup phone buzzed. I shot upright in bed. I crossed the dark room to my old toolbox, felt along the bottom, and pulled out the phone Norman had given me. The screen glowed. Norman Pierce. I answered on the second ring, my voice barely a whisper. "Norman, Dad." His voice was low, urgent, professional. "Listen carefully. You're in danger." My throat tightened. "Norman, something's happening. They've been giving me pills. I've been seeing things, hallucinating." "I know." His voice was hard. "Dad, I've been investigating Vincent for 6 weeks. He's not who he says he is." The room seemed to tilt. "What do you mean?" "He's a con artist, professional level. Real name is Kevin Gray. Before that, Marcus Sullivan. 3 prior arrests under different aliases, all targeting elderly people with assets. He marries into families, isolates the victim, takes everything." I sank onto the edge of the bed. "Vincent's not even his real name?" "No." "And Margaret, I'm still investigating, but they're planning something very soon. Like this week soon. There's a psychiatric facility," I said, my voice breaking. "Evergreen Behavioral Center. They have intake forms with my name on them." Norman swore under his breath. "That's the play." "They commit you." Have you declared incompetent? Take control of your assets. Once you're in a place like that, getting you out is nearly impossible. Norman, you have to. I can't be the agent of record on this case. You're my father. Conflict of interest. If I push it, the whole investigation gets thrown out and Vincent walks free. Then what? I'm working with Agent Sarah Mitchell, but she needs time to build a clean case. We're talking 5 days minimum to get a warrant. 5 days felt like forever. Dad, I need you to do exactly what I tell you. Do you have a place in the house where they don't have cameras? My workshop? Vincent said the electromagnetic interference would damage the equipment. Good. That's your safe zone. Stay there as much as you can without making them suspicious. I need you to record them if you can. But don't let them know you're onto them. Norman's voice sharpened. And Dad, whatever happens, do not let them take you to Evergreen. Once you're inside, I can't help you. Do you understand? I understand. 5 days. Can you do that? I thought about the pills, the cameras, the forms with my name on them. I can. Keep this phone charged and hidden. I'll call when I can. And Dad, I'm going to fix this. I promise. The line went dead. I spent the next 3 days playing my part, confused, compliant, gradually declining. I palmed Margaret's pills each night, spat them out in the bathroom, and felt my mind clear like a cleaned fuel injector. On Friday evening, I was in my workshop when I heard voices downstairs. Margaret and Vincent were in the living room, and they thought I was upstairs sleeping off my medication. I quietly opened the workshop door and listened. The appointment with Russo is Monday. Vincent was saying, "He'll declare your dad incompetent." Margaret's voice was tight. "Are you sure he'll sign off?" Vincent laughed. Cold, confident. "Babe, I paid him $50,000. By Tuesday we'll have the commitment papers, $50,000 for a doctor to lie. To declare me insane. To lock me away. I can't wait to get out of this house," Margaret said. "I'm so tired of pretending to care. Every concerned look, every gentle touch, every time she'd brought me those pills with that loving smile, it had all been performance." Vincent's voice turned calculating. "Think about it. 2.1 million in the bank, plus the house. We're looking at close to 3 million total." Margaret laughed, the same laugh she'd had as a little girl, but now it sounded hollow, venomous. Not bad for 3 months of playing the devoted daughter. I stood frozen at the top of the stairs, my daughter's words cutting through me like a dull blade. That was my little girl, the one who used to hand me tools in my workshop and ask about second chances. I pulled out Norman's backup phone and called him immediately. "They're moving Monday," I whispered. "Fake psychiatrist named Russo, $50,000 bribe. I'll be there Sunday night," Norman said. "Don't let them take you before then." At 11:47 p.m. Sunday, I heard a car pull up outside. I looked out my workshop window and saw Norman getting out of a dark sedan, followed by a woman in a business suit. They moved quietly to the back door. I met them in my kitchen. Norman looked older, more serious than I remembered. The woman introduced herself as Agent Sarah Mitchell. "We have enough for arrests," Sarah said quietly. Financial records, fake medical consultations, witness statements from other victims. This Dr. Russo has been running this scam for years. "What about Margaret?" I asked. Norman's expression softened slightly. "Dad, she initiated contact with Vincent 8 months ago. Our investigation shows she researched his methods before Mom even died. She's not a victim, she's the architect." At 8:15 a.m. Monday, Dr. Gerald Russo arrived with his briefcase and fake evaluation. As he was signing papers that would steal my freedom, my front door burst open. Norman entered with his badge raised, followed by Agent Mitchell and 4 other agents in tactical gear, FBI, everyone on the ground. Margaret screamed. Vincent stumbled backward. Dr. Russo dropped his briefcase. "Margaret Pierce, Vincent Gray, Dr. Gerald Russo." Norman's voice was cold, professional. "You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, elder abuse, and attempted kidnapping. As they led my daughter away, she turned back to me one last time. 'Dad, please, I'm your little girl.' I looked at her for a long moment, remembering the 8-year-old who'd asked about second chances. 'I don't have a little girl anymore,' I said quietly. The investigation revealed Vincent really was a con artist, but Margaret had been the one who found him. She'd researched elder abuse methods online, contacted him specifically to target me. Dr. Russo had been taking bribes for years, signing fake evaluations for families who wanted control of elderly relatives' assets. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Margaret got 18 years, Vincent got 12, Dr. Russo got 20. I sold the house on Elm Street and moved closer to Norman's family. I started volunteering at a community center, teaching mechanical skills to seniors. Ruth Wells visits every Sunday. We drink coffee and talk about staying alert to system malfunctions in the people around us. I keep Norman's backup phone charged and ready, not because I expect trouble, but because I learned that even the most trusted systems can fail when you're not paying attention to the warning signs. Margaret sends letters from prison. I don't read them. Some systems can't be repaired. They can only be replaced with something better. I'm 58 years old, not helpless, just experienced. I survived because I refused to accept a faulty diagnosis of my own capabilities. Real family fixes what's broken. They don't break what's working. If you're listening to this and something feels off in your own situation, trust your diagnostic instincts. When the pressure drops, when the warning lights start flashing, when something doesn't feel right, investigate. Get a second opinion. Call for backup. You're never too old to fight back, and you're never too experienced to learn that the most dangerous system failures come from the people you trust most. Don't wait until you're cornered to ask for help. Your voice matters. Your independence matters. And if my story can prevent even one family from going through what I did, then sharing it was worth every painful word.